Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, folks, it has been a long wait, but we are so excited. I am just absolutely over the moon as the announcements have started, the initial announcements have started for our film that is coming out called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. And the film will be released the first week of March. And I can now tell you publicly what I've not been able to tell you for a while. And that is it's going to be introduced at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival in the world premiere category. It'll be shown at 4 o'clock on Sunday and 9 o'clock on Thursday. We are in the running for an award. I never would have thought that could possibly ever happen. It is truly exciting, just over the moon. So for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll bring you up to date. You know, I've been doing this business. This radio show is brought to you, first of all, by Million Kids, MILLION, millionkids.org. We're a fairly small agency here in Southern California that's done a mighty work, quite frankly. Some impressive people, Dina Murray, that operates RCTL Enterprises. She does all the packaging of our shows and our messages and like that. And Kleist Media is the group that gets them all out to you. And it's just a phenomenal partnership between three organizations that make all of this work. We do training and outreach for prevention and intervention for crimes that are heavily affect children and teenagers, but also adults, for like sex trafficking and social media exploitation and even child pornography. And along that line, I am known for my many hours of research. I'm something of a nerd. If you meet me at a party, I probably won't remember who you are, you know. And eventually it'll come to me, but I'm not good at that kind of thing. I'm really all about case studies, you know, and understanding how these crimes take place. And since not that far back, actually, from about 2010 to about 2000 and now, I have looked at almost every case in the U.S. and many overseas of sex trafficking and social media exploitation, child pornography, labor trafficking, money laundering, gangs, cartels, and try to understand the crime. And I look at it from a standpoint of especially supporting law enforcement. I've been very fortunate in my last 10, 12 years to be the training and outreach coordinator for the Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. And the purpose of me doing all this research is so that we can look at these crimes and say, how can we fix this? You know, how does a child get blackmailed online, and how do they get sucked in? And then what can I do to talk to young people and make it clear to them? And same kind of thing with sex trafficking. You know, it's an odd crime. We just came through the Super Bowl, and if you hear all the hype and media going on, you had a sex trafficker behind every bush. Well, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Usually it starts out with a young person that's online, and they meet somebody and they get hot and heavy and they get what we call a fantasy relationship. In fact, I wrote a book called Seduce, the Grooming of America's Teenagers, all about how that fantasy process starts. You know, usually it starts around 14 years old. If the child has especially been in a foster care system or from a broken home, it can start sooner. And they will start to bring that child in and make them believe that somebody cares about them. And if there's parents in the household, a lot of times the conflict starts right there. They want the phone. They want to see what they want to see on the phone. They're taking all kinds of chances. They're sending things out. Maybe they're playing on hookup sites and dating sites. And pretty soon mom and dad are saying, this isn't good. You're grounded, clean up your room. And she's hooked up to some guy who's saying, hey, baby, you're hot. And mom and dad don't realize at that point that they're not arguing with her and they're not arguing with the boyfriend. They are arguing with a fantasy. And when a parent gets, in a tug of war with a fantasy, they are going to lose if you don't understand the process. And that's usually how it starts. Well, up until prior to COVID, that sort of thing was going on regularly. Not a lot of our kids were being trafficked, but way too many, because it destroys their life for the rest of their life. By trafficking, I'm talking about when you get kids into commercial sex and you start thinking this is going to be a way of life for you and that you're going to make money, or you're helping your boyfriend just pick up some extra money because he thinks you're hot and this is what he's doing. And pretty soon you're out there being beat up and having sex 8-10 times a night with people who give you money, but you don't get to keep the money. The money goes off to the pimp and who started out as a boyfriend. And that's how it normally happens. One of the things I started to understand as I've worked and done all this research is that in many cases, it started much sooner than that. It started when they hooked up with somebody online, like in a dating site or an online video game site or through the live streaming. And the next thing you know, they're exchanging vulnerable photos, illicit photos. And pretty soon the blackmail begins. And we have started to understand there are large-scale rings doing this now. As the entire world has come together on the internet, and that's what my second book is all about, is Societal Shift, A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls. We're living at an extraordinary time in all of history, and it's going to require extraordinary parenting. But few parents are prepared because the kids know the technology more than the parent does. And they go in and they do behaviors that they do not have the cognitive reasoning enough to understand how it's going to end for them. And they will start to exchange photos. And then all of a sudden, they're trapped. And this works with guys and girls. Now, more girls get caught up in the sex trafficking where they're actually doing the commercial sex, but more guys get caught up a lot, especially through online video game chat rooms. Because think about what happens. They're in there playing a video game, especially with the new platforms like PS5 and Discord and all of those. And you live stream and you're talking to people you don't know. All your games have changed dramatically over the last couple of years due to technology. And that is because they've become mass audience live streaming gaming platforms. So what am I talking about? Well, it used to be your kid, played in Minecraft. And maybe he had 30, 40 people in there and he knew most of them. And so he had some level of control. But now what is happening is the kids are playing in things like Fortnite, and Fortnite's just one of many. And they have multiple players. I think, which one was it recently? Had 11 million people on at once around the world. And this is what I mean by a world without borders, a home without walls. This will be the world your children and your grandchildren will grow up in. They're going to grow up in a world where they're going to exchange a lot of data and ideas and interactions with people around the world that they don't know. And that's what happens in online gaming. But the challenge there is that you're live streaming it. And when you start live streaming it, that's a two-way street and people forget. The same kind of thing happens on porn sites now, by the way. I was looking at the data for porn sites. It's amazing the number of interactive porn sites they now have, where you view a video, but you go over and interact with somebody on a subscription basis. What people don't realize is those sites are going on live streaming. Live streaming works two ways, folks. And while you're watching them, they're watching you. And sometimes they record that. And sometimes you're going to pay a price to get that recording back, and it may be more than your total net worth, okay? Because this can change your life and the life of your child. And it is the way that it's going to go. It's called Sextortion, and our movie is called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. So we're coming up against a break here. I'm going to go deep into this subject in a couple of minutes, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Listen up, folks. You no longer have to drive out of the IE for a great restaurant experience. The Toasted Barrel, an upscale casual steakhouse located in Corona, has been winning award after award for their great diverse menu, service, ambience, wine, and cocktails. Customers call the Barrel the perfect date night. Inland Empire magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant 4 years in a row. Wine Spectator recognized the Toasted Barrel's wine program for their award of excellence. Toasted Barrel is famous for their certified Angus beef, prime, Wagyu, and Kobe steaks, and they have some of the best pasta and seafood around. With happy hour and daily specials every day of the week, their appetizers and drink selections are the best around. Live music starts every Friday and Saturday at 5:30. Planning a dinner party, wedding rehearsal, family gathering, or holiday party? Look up Toasted Barrel online and make your reservation today.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it, and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about the crime of sextortion. Actually, it goes by many names like webcam blackmail, internet blackmail, web sextortion, online sextortion, cyber harassment, online harassment, extortion, and online extortion. But if you put the word sex and extortion together, you get the word sextortion, and that's what we basically call it. And that's what our film is about. Now, our film is going to be coming out. We're doing everything we can. We're right in the middle of the negotiations now for live streaming to get it out on the major players. I want every parent and grandparent in America to see this film when it does come out on live streaming. We probably have another couple of months yet before it actually hits. But if you want to see a trailer to it, you can go to the film website, which is sextortionfilm.com. Sextortionfilm.com. And you can go on there and see a trailer. We are also going to set up a second site, but if you go on to millionkids.org and sign up, we will let you know and keep you posted on that film and when it's coming out and what you can see. But if you want to see the trailer, it's about a 5-minute trailer on sextortionfilm.com. We have millionkids.org, but we also are going to have sextortion info on a website. And I'm still writing a downloadable book. So I've got a bunch of people pounding at my door going, where is it? Where is it? Finish it up. It will be a talking book that you download. And I'm doing that because, this subject changes so fast, you have to keep current on it. But on that website, we're also this is sextortioninfo.com. And on that site, you'll be linked over from Million Kids. But on that site, we'll also be posting all the different cases of doing this. So I was telling you a little bit about the journey that got me from here to there. And we're not quite arrived yet, but over the years, what I came to understand is that before kids ended up in sex traffic, many of them started out by sending naked photos and getting violated online. And I would sit with their parents, and it's just, you can't even imagine what it's like for a parent. I take the calls, on a regular basis from parents, and it's just devastating. It's devastating for the father. It's devastating for the mothers. And they're trying to figure out how to help their child. They're also trying to keep from killing their child for getting them into it. That's a figure of speech, okay? But think about it. I mean, photos have GPS on them. I've known people that have had to move because the harassment gets so great when a photo is out there. And the psychological damage to their child, and many of the kids end up changing schools because the photo has gone all over school and they don't know how to get out of it. And the people are wanting money and they're wanting more photos. So I wanted to kind of give you some background about how this all takes place. But for me, what I saw was this was a life-changing event for a child and a parent. And I also saw, because I've trained 500,000 people now, getting old, folks. Anyway, but because I have done that, I saw that most kids don't want to be violated. They don't want to lose their devices by any means. So they're not going to come and talk to mom and dad because there's that biggest fear in the world of that. But they need help and they don't know where to go, and their lives change. Suddenly their behavior changes. Maybe they stop going to school because they don't know who at school has seen this film. Or maybe they change their sleep where they can't sleep and they're very agitated. And a lot of guys just shut down emotionally. They don't know what to do. They just come to a screeching halt. Some girls sometimes start getting very, very highly hyper emotional, and kind of everything's kind of a blow up, but no straightforward question answering going on in there. They might change their eating habits when they do something like that, maybe become bulimic or anorexic or kind of panic. They might need money. Suddenly they're shoplifting and trying to sell things, or they're stealing mom and dad's jewelry or their gold that they've got somewhere put away, or trying to get money that might be laying around the house, or borrowing money maybe from a grandma or grandpa, asking them not to tell. But they may need money. They may start cutting. That's a huge one, absolutely huge. If you see a child cutting, you need to get them into counseling. There are so many possibilities that are going on, that they're being blackmailed or that they're being recruited into sex trafficking, and they don't know how, or something's going on out there where there's a photo and they can't tell. So all of those are, kinds of things that you might want to watch for in a child. But what is happening is that something has happened where they have gotten a photograph out there and they won't tell. Now, how big is the problem? We don't know for sure. I mean, they're trying to nail down these numbers are very, very difficult because there are several different reporting hotlines. So this is why I'm going to go into the numbers in a minute, but this is why I made the movie. I wanted a movie that would tell parents and tell kids how the internet is made and where these naked photos go when you hit send. Because it occurs to me that we are putting an entire generation of young people, and now even younger people out there, giving them devices that we don't define how they work and how pedophiles use them and who pedophiles are and what healthy adult sex is and what pedophilia is and how do you protect yourself so you don't get caught up in it. And for me, the very thought of putting a child online without giving them this information in a way that they will listen, that's part of the challenge. Every kid I've ever met will tell you, oh, it ain't going to happen to me. I'll know a catfish when I see them. That's where they go. Well, they don't, because it looks like what is exactly what everybody's seeking. It doesn't look like a catfish. It doesn't look like a pedophile. It looks like your new, long lost love. That kind of thing that gives you giddy in your tummy when you first meet somebody who cares about you and you find the spark between you, and your hormones are raging and going wild, and you think you've found Mr. or Mrs. Perfect and everything's going to be good. And by the way, it isn't just our kids too. The adults get caught up, men and women, on these dating sites and porn sites. They get caught up in it themselves. I'll talk about that in a minute. And so off it goes. And so I wanted to raise the money, and we did. We raised the money along with an organization called Giving University, who've just been a tremendous, tremendous asset to us. And together, they did their contract, I did mine, and together we sought out a producer, Stephen and Maria Peak, who are parents, by the way, of 11 and 13-year-olds. So they will tell you it is the hardest work they've ever done, like climbing up a mountain on their knees to deal with the subject and look at the cases and understand what I live and breathe with every day, that this is a crime that changes families, that changes kids, and you got to be able to protect yourself. And they got busy and they did an action case based on the case of Daniel Harris. If you want to Google him or just go see the trailer, he was a Top Gun Navy pilot who was, a good-looking hunk. He had a gorgeous wife. He had 2 kids, and he was sextorting 14-year-old kids all over the world, girls. And this film shows where those naked photos go when you send them in there. It even has some victims in it that talk about how it happened, how it worked, how they got brought into the thing, and the price that they paid. It is a powerful, powerful film that is about to come out sometime in the next 90 days. We've got to get through the Santa Barbara Film Festival as they release it, and we've got to finish our publicity and get it picked up, but we're on our way. Some of you out there made that happen along with us, and we're right here on the edge of the cliff about to watch this thing take off, and it is beyond my wildest dreams. I believe that any child that sees that film will never again think about sending a naked photo online. And I'm hoping any parent that is out there or any adult that's on some of those dating sites and those hookup sites will think twice before they ever engage in that kind of relationship online. And I really hope anybody who's watching a porn movie, I hope you're not, but if you are, you need to remember that live streaming works both ways, folks, and that puts you in danger. This is Opal Singleton, Exploited Crimes and Technology. We will be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploiting Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we're talking about the crime of online exploitation of children and adults. And one of the things that I have noticed, because I have been doing this for years and years and years, that there is a huge correlation between technology and the advancement of various technologies and the number of cases that are taking place. And there is a lag of education, a lack, and also a lag in education for parents and children. And I have thought, since I've been doing this for so long, that if we could just educate against it, it would slow it down. But one of the challenges there is that nobody has really taken this on. They've taken on a lot of human trafficking. There's all kinds of movies out there about human trafficking. Some of them are accurate. Anyway, some of them are not, I think. But anyway, but few people have taken this on. And I kind of thought if we could just educate, it'd slow it down. But one of the things that I didn't understand in my analysis of all this is just how fast technology is changing the way we handle online interaction. And of course, none of us could have ever predicted COVID, where we're going to go through like 2 years of online learning, where suddenly people are working from home. And by the way, that includes pedophiles. And this is a obsessive compulsive condition that if you have financial restraints, if you have a lot of time on your hands, if you're bored, you will find yourself playing online with a lot more time than you ever thought you would. And at the same time, we're taking very young children and putting them online with almost nobody really defining how do you spot a pedophile? What does an online relationship look like? And how do we teach our children how all of this works so that they can teach the next generation? And that was the real purpose of my film, is we need to stop in our tracks and get a handle on teaching our kids. So how bad was it? Well, I saw a New York Times article. This is from last year. It is difficult to get exact numbers of how big this is because you have different hotlines. You know, all your police departments have hotlines, and your crimes against children and Homeland Security, which is just incredible people, by the way. Here in the Inland Empire, we have a very strong ICAC unit, Internet Crimes Against Children. That is a private group of Homeland Security that focuses on child sex crimes online, such as child pornography and the sextortion crime. And also your Fontana Police Department, we've had them online on our phone for a couple of times. And also the Riverside County District Attorney, the RSET unit over there that does sexual exploitation crimes. And so we have a lot of resources going out about it. And on top of it, you have the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and then you have the Department of Justice and all, you know, the We Tip hotline. You have all these hotlines, so it's real hard to nail down. Along with it, there's been some legislation that is encouraging technology companies such as Facebook and TikTok and all of the others to scrub their platforms each night for child pornography and turn them in to NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So what we're starting to find out is this is truly a pandemic. That's why we call it sextortion, the hidden pandemic. So this particular article I'm looking at, it says technology companies reported, get this, a record 45 million online photos and videos of abuse just this last year. Now, that's the ones the tech companies are reporting, not the ones that you and I, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, are reporting. 45 million. And I can tell you that most of your tech companies are not doing this. There's just a lot of heat on the bigger ones. So an investigation by the New York Times found an insatiable criminal underworld that had exploded the flawed and insufficient efforts to contain it. As with hate speech and terrorist propaganda, many tech companies failed to police sexual abuse imagery on their platforms, and they failed to cooperate sufficiently with the authorities when they found it. Law enforcement agencies devoted to the problem were left understaffed and underfunded. You see, we're doing this at the same time we're taking away money from law enforcement, even though they have bigger and bigger caseloads, because we're putting pedophiles online and we're putting kids online at the same time. So the Department of Justice got busy and did a whole lot of things here, but I wanted to just show you just how fast this has grown. In 1998, there were over 3,000 reports of child sexual abuse imagery, meaning child pornography. Over a decade later, it's 100,000. By 2014, it surpassed up to 1 million. Get this, in 2020, not 21, we don't have those numbers yet. In 2021, last year, there were 18.4 million, more than 1/3 of the total ever reported. Those reports included over 45 million images and videos flagged as child sexual abuse. The Times reviewed over 10,000 pages of police and court documents. They conducted software tests. They did all this investigation. They had conversations with admitted pedophiles who concealed his identity using encryption software and who ran a site that hosted 17,000 images. That is nothing, folks. They just found a child pornography site that was posting these photos that had over 1 million paid subscribers. And yes, they are hidden in the dark web, and they are currently going through and are finding the IP address of the members and arresting them. That is what some of our local law enforcement does in crimes against children. Here's the problem with it. They get that child to send a photo, and that photo goes out, in that case, to over 1 million people immediately. And then it's resent and resent and resent. And any one of those 1 million people that has that photo has the ability to run a GPS and find out who sent that photo, and it's very difficult to find the victim of that photo, in that photo, and they are passed around forever and ever. And that child's life is changed forever. So those photos go out to pedophile rings all around the world, and they can never get it back. That means that child's life is changed forever, and it will be rebroadcast and rebroadcast and rebroadcast. And why it took anyone so long to make a movie, other than us, I don't know, because this has reached pandemic proportions. And we need to do something about it. We're at that place where we need to stop and start all over again in educating anybody that's online. And that's what I'm doing with you. Because literally, when you think about 45 million images that they found in 1 year, and I'm not saying all 45 million people are being blackmailed, but that's only one tech group that they're working with. Between the number that are reported and now the tech companies are finding it, law enforcement's completely overwhelmed to handle this kind of thing, to keep your child safe online. Sometimes I make presentations to organizations and I ask the question, if a child is being exploited online because they've sent a naked photo, who's at fault here? Okay, the app company needs to scrub that platform. But when you download that app, it's usually downloaded on a phone that is paid for by an adult. And when they download the app, they hit, I agree. But they don't read what they agree to. And oftentimes the app, when download, will say, this will not be used by anyone under the age of 12. And then they hand it to an 8-year-old and they go, well, yeah, but they're a little more mature than the average person. I don't care how mature they are. If we don't have a program that teaches kids, how the internet is made and where those fake naked photos go when you hit send and what's going to happen to you when you do it, then we're setting our children up for worldwide failure. And it's crazy to do that. And so that is the purpose of the film that is coming out. And I am over the moon. It's being looked at heavily in Europe. It's looked at across the U.S. We're doing everything we can to raise the funding to get the support materials out there and making that happen. And it looks like that it is going to go across the world like a firestorm. And praise God for that, because I couldn't have done that by myself. This is Opal Singleton. We're up against a break. Stay with us.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. We are talking about the crime of sextortion and the film that is about to be released called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. If you want to view the trailer, you can do that by going to sextortionfilm.com. And if you want to keep current on what's going on with the film, I hope you'll follow millionkids.org. By the way, it's .org, not .com on Million Kids, okay? That's a rockband.com. And we both got there about the same time, but we have a lot more impact, I think. Anyway, so what happens if you get sextorted or your child gets sextorted? Now, we're seeing a lot more adult sextortion starting to come out. I suspect that it just wasn't being reported. You know, it's one thing when your child is sextorted because, you know, it's changing their life forever. But as an adult, we're starting to find out that this is happening a lot more than people realize. And you're getting all kinds of ways of doing it. Some of it is this live streaming I talked about, where you get involved in a porn site and they're recording you and distributing that out there, and you become the entertainment suddenly. And or it might be in a game live streaming and a gaming. One of my concerns is technology is changing so fast in these online games. With this new metaverse that's coming out, you're going to have extended reality and artificial reality and augmented reality and animated pornography in the video game. It's already full of it. If you haven't sat with your child and played a video game with them, especially if you have a young man in your life, I highly recommend that you get yourself an avatar and start to see what's going into his head, because a lot of this has pornography hidden in the game. And they don't even recognize the pornography, but we're putting kids on there as they're going through puberty and they're experiencing stimulation. And now they're sharing with total strangers in a chat room. And it makes them absolutely vulnerable to being caught up in this kind of thing. So some words of advice. One of the things that I saw is there's actually a sextortion attorney I found online. His name is Aaron Mink, M-I-N-C. I don't know where he's out of. It's 216 area code. I didn't look that up. But he's got a darn good website if you are a person that's involved in this. He doesn't know I'm saying this, by the way. I just downloaded it, but I like his website. I think I'm going to try to get him online on the radio here with me. And since he is obviously well known in that. Last name, Mink, M-I-N-C, and it's called Mink Law, M-I-N-C-L-A-W. He's saying, we recommend the following steps to deal with sextortion. Do not pay the sextortion demanded ransom. Here's the problem with these sextortion rings. You don't know who you're dealing with. And we see this all the time. One of the statistics that is just terrifying to me is that it's believed that as much as 58% of kids will go out and meet up with their predator, the person that's blackmailing them, before they will tell a parent, trying to keep it quiet, thinking they can buy their way out of it. By the way, adults are no different, for what it's worth, when they get caught in these kinds of things. But the problem of it is, it's often the same guy, and the kid gets raped or violated. This happened here in Southern California, where she went out and met up with him trying to get the photo back, and he raped her. It's the same guy. They have multiple personas, and they will come to you and say, oh, I got this photo, and you look like such a fine person. How did I get this photo? How did you get this online? And let me help you. And so they will start asking for money. And that's always a big sign if your kid needs money. But the same thing if you as an adult get caught in it. A lot of times it'll happen to females where they'll get on the dating sites or those hookup sites. And, pretty soon you're moving very quickly. By the way, one of the first things they will do is move you from one side to the other. That's the first hint that you're dealing with somebody, the suspect. Because if you meet on Instagram, they'll meet you over to Snapchat. If you meet on TikTok, I'll meet you on Instagram. Get me more of those photos. I'm going to make you famous. They're doing that because they're trying to verify that you're not a cop. And they're also trying to verify that you're willing to follow them. So they may start asking for money. And, do not give in to the ransom, because you don't know if you have enough money to ever pay them off. If you're getting caught up in one of these sextortion rings, the last ring I read about was 29 pedophiles in a ring. They had tens of thousands of teenagers that they were blackmailing. And these kids never knew they were talking to 29 different guys. Another one was 9 different guys. Well, you can't give them enough money to get rid of them. So stop engaging with the perpetrator immediately. Absolutely stop. Do not go on and tell the perpetrator, I know that you're a perpetrator. I'm going to the police. Do not do that. Screenshot, if it's your child, screenshot anything that you can, and don't share it with everyone you know. Document all communication. That means print it out, keep it, even if it's humiliating and embarrassing. Once you're in the news, baby, it's going to get worse. And you're going to have to go to police before it's over. And then secure all your social media profiles and change all your passwords, because even if they hacked in, change every password and keep a record of it, and don't use the same passwords for each account. That just isn't going to work. So this is just some of the stuff that you're going to learn by working with me and kids, but I am over the moon excited about this film about to come out. Never again should another man, woman, or child be violated. And the only way to fix this is to stop right now in the middle of this generation. It's already proven that it's going to get worse. We're up to 45 million just from some tech company. That isn't all of them that are out there. And that means that this is truly a pandemic. So educate yourself about it. I hope that you will follow meandkids.org. Go on, and we don't sell your name. And as you probably can tell, I'm a fairly lousy fundraiser. But if you want to contribute for getting this film out there and getting all the support packages out there and helping us get that website finalized and developed about how you go about handling it, what signs you look for, how do you report it, what can we do? We have to stop this. You know, our lives aren't going to get any more simple. With technology, your child, probably by this time next year, may be interacting with more than 1 million or 5 million people. It is the way of the future. The entire world is about to come together as 5G turns on. It was supposed to happen a couple of weeks ago, but we had to buy some time. You are living at the most important time in all of history. And this calls for leadership. This calls for paying attention to what is happening. We hear about all kinds of catastrophic things on TV, but you almost never hear about how big this is, and most of all, how to fix it. The way we fix it is we get every man, woman, and child on earth to look at that movie called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. Once you set through that movie, I believe your child will walk out of there and go, whoa, baby, that can happen to me. And I believe that's the greatest calling, the greatest mission of all time. I'm concerned about saving the pollution and global warming and all that stuff, but what we really got to do is save our kids. They are the future generation. And if we don't get that right in this generation, we are going to lose the entire future, because right now is the time that we train this generation to be the leaders for all future generations about where those naked photos go when you hit send and why you don't want to. Our kids want to be leaders. They want to be influencers, and they don't want to be violated. And it is up to us to give them the equipment and the tools to prevent this from happening. If you're willing to support our work, please go to millionkids.org. millionkids.org. Hit that donate button or send me a check. I'm old-fashioned enough to like those checks. I drive down there myself to get them. So I appreciate it. I also want to say thank you to all the people over the last 12 years that have come alongside a million kids and hung in there with us as we got this out. We faced some tremendous obstacles and some tremendous pushback, but God has won this battle, and this film will come out and it will go around the world, and it will make the difference that we need to make in educating our people. We have the resources. We need your support to do it. If you'll just go to millionkids.org and support our work, I'd appreciate it. And while you're at it, if you're on your knees, if you'd say a prayer for this work, we need to stand against this evil. This is Opal Singleton. We'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock on AM 590.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.